Welcome to the Ringer NFL show. Sheil Kapadia here with my friend Shawn Syed of SumerSports, and we have a job to do today. We are searching for the quarterback who is going to make the leap this year. Now, how do we define make the leap? Here's the deal. The way we talk about this quarterback at season's end will be fundamentally different than the way we talk about them now. They could go from bad to good. They could go from good to elite. They could go from unknown to competent. All those things are in play. But again, the key is they will be viewed differently 4 months from now than they are at this point in time. So to find the guy, we're going to Kapadia Court. That's right. I am the judge. You might want to see what that looks like on the Ringer NFL YouTube page or on your Spotify app. Shawn is the lead counsel. He will have 45 seconds to make his argument for 8 different candidates. We will choose 3 finalists based on his arguments, and then we will rule in favor of one winner. Shawn, should we go get changed and go get ready for court?
Let's do it.
This is the Ringer NFL show presented by FanDuel, and the NFL is officially back. So if you're going to be in it with FanDuel. They've got the goods, futures, live betting, SGPs, your way bets, all of it. The app's clean, it's fast, and yeah, when you win, you get paid instantly, which is nice because Sunday patience doesn't exist. So get your bets in, build something bold, and make every game feel bigger. Download the FanDuel app or head to fanduel.com/RingerNFL to get started. The Ringer is committed to responsible gaming. Please visit rg-help.com to learn more about the resources and helplines available, and listen to the end of the episode for additional details. Must be 21 plus and present in select states, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Paid endorsement. Order in the court. Judge Kapadia now presiding in the case of the 2025 NFL Make the Leap quarterback. Counsel, please state your name for the record.
Shawn Syed, on behalf of the quarterbacks, dressed notably in a full suit for the audio-only crowd.
Counsel will have 45 seconds to make each argument, after which I will either move the quarterback into the group of 3 finalists or eliminate them. At any time, I can bump one finalist for another if I hear a more convincing argument. Counsel, do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right. We have the timer ready. 45 seconds. Please present your first candidate now.
May it please the court. Your Honor, when Drake Maye drops back, anything can happen. Now, that can be stiff-arming a Dolphins defensive end and throwing it over the defense, or that could be sailing the ball over the receiver's head for an interception against the Texans. The facts of this case tell us unequivocally that Drake Maye's offensive line's performance last year left something to be desired. Maye faced the 6th highest pressure rate, and even if he took off a bit early too much, can you blame a guy for having 18 runs over 10 yards? Still, he gave us impressive moments. His offensive infrastructure should improve with new pieces, including 4th overall pick, Will Campbell at left tackle, and Stephon Diggs at wide receiver. And despite this court's...
All right, you're right. That's it. You're out of order. Argument over. Drake Maye performing under tough circumstances as a rookie. Valid argument. Anything can happen. Could be a valid argument, which could mean he's got a little Carson Wentz to his game, or could mean that he's ready to make the leap. This was the first candidate presented. Player will be considered for further argument. All right. Please present your second candidate now.
Sure, it has been a winding road for Bryce Young from the depths of the first half of last season and his rookie year. But in the back half of last season, Young showed improvement. He was getting rid of the ball quicker under pressure. He could push the ball further down the field in the rhythm of the offense. And head coach Dave Canales was learning more about what would work for his young quarterback. Now, we have a situation where Bryce Young can play point guard in an open offense that takes advantage of Young's mind. with the addition of wide receiver Teteroa McMillan with the 8th overall pick and a surprisingly solid offensive line, Young can now build on a more solid foundation. Every quarterback does not need to look the same, and we can't dismiss quarterbacks.
All right. That's it. Bryce Young, argument over, counsel. Okay. Bryce Young, you made a compelling case. Yes, there was some improvement last year for sure. You're looking ahead to this year playing point guard. Dave Canales. Now, you failed to mention we don't like small samples in this court, and it was a small sample of slight improvement. You didn't mention the name Adam Thielen, who the Panthers just traded. You didn't mention the fact that they're relying on 3 very young wide receivers who, while they could be good, have not done a thing in the NFL. And oh, by the way, left tackle, could be an issue for Bryce Young this year. So I think there's a chance we look at Bryce Young as a solid starting quarterback by the end of the season. But in terms of being a true make-the-leap quarterback, Bryce Young, you are dismissed. Out of here, Bryce Young. I don't really know if that's how judges talk. All right, next argument.
My client, Trevor Lawrence's reputation has taken a hit recently, and in steps new head coach and former Buccaneers offensive coordinator Liam Cohen to clean it up. Cohen's Buccaneers were the best third down offense in the entire league last season, and Cohen helped make things crystal clear on passing plays. Trevor Lawrence will certainly look to improve his decision-making, clean up his footwork, and will benefit from this new structure. Cohen and Lawrence get to work together where they have a future star in Brian Thomas Jr., an exciting weapon in Travis Hunter, and multiple viable running backs. Lawrence did make a leap in his second season where the Jaguars won the AFC South and then had...
All right. Counsel, all due respect. Did you not practice in front of the mirror? 45 seconds, we went over the ground rules yesterday. You got to be finished at 45 seconds. And I am afraid the hipsters and the QB intellectuals, counsel, have gotten to you. Perhaps they have cornered you in your mansion and said, Trevor Lawrence, he is still the chosen one. Don't give the Liam Cohen 1 year. I've never seen a guy's reputation make a bigger leap in 1 year than Liam Cohen. My God, the guy is now Bill Walsh all of a sudden because he got the Bucs to the first round of the playoffs. Oh my gosh, the guy can work miracles. So I am sorry. I do think Trevor Lawrence could be better this year, but you know what? I'm tired of the hype. I'm tired of saying, oh, it's the OC's fault. It's the O-line's fault. It's the wide. By the way, you didn't mention the O-line there, which could be a complete disaster. So Trevor Lawrence, go find your buddy Bryce Young in the hall of number 1 picks who have not done anything yet. Player is dismissed. All right. Counsel, please make your next argument.
Brock Purdy has been judged by the court of public opinion before I stepped into this room today. The word system quarterback is thrown around as an attack on my client. Offensive line injuries last season, wide receiver position cursed like the defense against a dark arts job at Hogwarts. Purdy still led a top 10 offense by the numbers. And sure, Kyle Shanahan deserves credit, but when Purdy had to create on his own under pressure, still a top 10 offense. Now, Your Honor, to my eyes, Brock Purdy is not the same quarterback I thought he was 2 years ago. The 49ers now face the easiest schedule in all of football that this court has noted multiple times. Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, and George Kittle are ready to go. Brandon,
all right. George Kittle. Last thing we heard was George Kittle. The court would like to note that the Harry Potter reference could have potentially been taking a shot at the Honorable Judge Kapadia for the glasses that he's wearing, which you can, of course, see on YouTube and your Spotify app. That's neither here nor there. Brock Purdy, interesting argument. The court feels that if Brock Purdy plays well again, and if the 49ers play well again, because this has happened before, counsel, a couple years ago, and I don't remember anybody at that time making the argument, oh, it's Brock Purdy, No one even would admit that Brock Purdy's good at football. They were given pretty boy coach Kyle Shanahan, even in his older age and the grays showing, all of the credit as the offensive savant. So I think it is a difficult uphill climb for Brock Purdy. Having said that, there is a chance, to your point, as I see a different wide receiver going down for the 49ers. Every time we take a break here and I check my phone, there is a chance that Brock Purdy will be different for him this year, that he will get that credit and that he will play well and that he will beat up on that easy schedule. So for now, Brock Purdy will be considered for further argument. So Brock Purdy moves on, will be considered for further argument, along with Drake Maye, Bryce Young, and Trevor Lawrence have been dismissed. We still have 4 more quarterback arguments to get to. We will narrow it down to 3, and then we will pick a finalist. At this time, we will take a short recess. There is a food cart outside that serves Uncrustables that I hear our counsel is just a big, big fan of. We will come back to the court in 30 minutes and hear the 4 final arguments. All right, order in the court, order in the court. We are back. Counsel, please present your next argument.
Your Honor, it is my duty under Rule 3.3 of the Model Rules of Professional Conduct to lead with candor towards this tribunal. And it is time that we all admit a mistake. We were wrong in how we viewed the Chicago Bears situation last year. Receivers weren't put in the best spots, and Caleb Williams wasn't even told how he should watch film to prepare for opponents. Williams did have frustrating misses and some running around into pressure, but he also gave us explosive plays against the Colts, accurate throws against the Jaguars, a drive to win the game against the Packers, and now he gets everyone's favorite play caller from the Lions, Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is going to get Caleb's eyes exactly where they need to be. He's going to have receivers running open, and he's going to maximize this offense behind an offensive line.
All right. Maximize the offense. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams. You know, the court notices a pattern with these number 1 overall picks who are now being projected to make the leap. The court does not like excuse making in the form of offensive play calling wasn't good enough. This is what the money is for the number 1 overall picks. Overcome some of those things. Was Caleb Williams doing that last year when he finished 31st in pressure to sack rate? When the only quarterback who got sacked more than Caleb Williams was Will Levis? How about you get rid of the ball? How about you scramble and show a little playmaking? How are you supposed to coach a guy who's taken sacks 1 out of every 10 dropbacks? So I hear your argument, counsel. It is not a horrible argument that perhaps Ben Johnson is an offensive savant. Perhaps the O-line moves work out. Perhaps the supporting cast is very good. However, I see a quarterback in Caleb Williams who will make gradual improvement, but will not make the leap. Player is dismissed. All right, counsel. We have 3 more quarterbacks to get to. Please make your next argument.
We saw a bit of Michael Penix Jr. last year, and it is hard not to be excited about it. In just 3 starts, Penix pushed the ball down the field, aggressively targeted Drake London, and opened up the Atlanta Falcons offense. In limited time, Penix threw darts on the outside, attacked willingly over the middle of the field, and did what he could to avoid sacks, and gave us a jaw-dropping throw against the Panthers. Now, with a full year of starts ahead of him, Penix is in the driver's seat. With offensive coordinator Zach Robinson's creative play calling and all of the weapons, including Bijan Robinson in the backfield, there is a chance for a big play to happen on any single play.
All right. Chance for a big play. The court would like to confirm that he heard something correctly and accurately, because he can't believe such an argument would be made in his court. So let me confirm. Was one of your arguments, counsel, that Michael Penix made 1 throw against a Panthers defense that allowed 3,000 yards rushing and roughly 3,000 points last year? Just confirming that that was part of your argument here.
Respectfully, Your Honor, that throw was a unique throw that counsel certainly believes deserves.
All right, you're out of order. Listen, we have a timer for a reason. We cannot be having these long follow-up explanations. Michael Penix Jr. Okay, so I do like that you pointed out he only took 3 sacks in 3 starts last year. We just talked about a potential quarterback who could make the leap, who was taking a lot more sacks than that. So that is a nice feather in Michael Penix's cap. I'm on the fence here because as you know, I can only choose one more finalist to move on to the final round. And I don't know that it's going to happen for Michael Penix Jr., but I do think there is a chance that Michael Penix Jr. is a quarterback we are talking about differently at the end of the year than we're talking about now. That is part of the criteria. So for now, Michael Penix Jr. will be considered for further argument. Now, I will explain to everybody that we have 2 more candidates to go. And so if I choose one of these final 2 candidates to move on, then I have to bump somebody. That would be either Michael Penix Jr., Brock Purdy, or Drake Maye. So a lot of drama in the courtroom here as we get to our last 2 candidates. Counsel, please make your next argument.
JJ McCarthy is one of my most intriguing clients. He is, admittedly, a bit of a mystery. But what is certain is he will have Justin Jefferson running routes for him and one of the best play callers that this league has in Kevin O'Connell. This is not to mention a load of resources being invested into the offensive line and O'Connell getting another shot at designing a good run game. McCarthy steps into a team that won 14 games last season and helped Sam Darnold get a massive contract. McCarthy is an unknown and he may sail a ball or 2 and face ups and downs, but he is in a place where he can learn and grow.
All right, learn and grow. Yeah. Participation Trophy Society. I hear all of it. JJ McCarthy. Here's the problem with JJ McCarthy. It's what we talked about with Brock Purdy earlier. You mentioned Sam Darnold, who I believe was one of your clients last year. If JJ McCarthy plays well, is JJ McCarthy really getting the credit? Or is everyone telling me about Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and now Adam Thielen and this is a top 5 offensive line? I don't know that JJ McCarthy will be the player receiving the credit. So while I understand your argument, and I do believe he is one of the more intriguing players in the NFL this year, and while I do believe that there is a high variance with that Vikings offense, I do not think that we will be talking about JJ McCarthy in a significantly different way 4 months from now than we are now. And so for that reason, the player is dismissed, JJ McCarthy. All right, we are down to our final argument. A reminder, this final argument, this quarterback could move on, but then I would have to bump one quarterback. Otherwise, we have our final 3 finalists. Counsel, please make your final argument.
We cannot fail CJ Stroud again. After an amazing rookie season, Stroud was under duress all year long and was not given the tools to succeed. In steps offensive coordinator Nick Caley, who most recently worked with the Los Angeles Rams. Just as Matthew Stafford gained more freedom with the Rams, Stroud has earned the ability to do the same with the Texans. Gone are the days of Chiefs and Jets defenders running unblocked at CJ Stroud. Gone are the days of Stroud knowing what needs to be done, but not having the responsibility to be able to do it. Stroud has an elite connection with an elite receiver in Nico Collins.
All right. Elite receiver. You're lucky, Counsel, that, 45 seconds and you don't mention the name Nico Collins. If I was your client, I would be incredibly flabbergasted that his name does not come up earlier in your argument. One of the best wide receivers in the NFL. I know you were going to get to it, but you only have 45 seconds here. Okay, I think Counsel is making the mistake that we see a lot in our society, in sports, that change equals improvement. He mentioned, he's not going to see the free rushers. He's not going to see the pressure. Has anyone looked at the Houston Texans offensive line depth chart? If that is your plan for improving your offensive line, Houston Texans, I got a lot of questions because you took a lot of no names, a lot of cast-offs that nobody wanted, and you said, hey, CJ, here's your new interior offensive line. So that makes me a little bit nervous. However, I do tend to agree with you that CJ Stroud is a good quarterback who was put under very difficult circumstances last year. In fact, at this time last year, I had him as a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And so I think there is a chance that we get back to that status with CJ Stroud by the end of the year. And so CJ Stroud will be considered for further argument, which means I need to bump a player. Either Michael Penix Jr., Brock Purdy, or Drake Maye gets bumped. We are bumping Michael Penix Jr. Just too much uncertainty. Lost his tackle, Caleb McGarry, for the season. We wish you the best, Michael Penix Jr., but you will not be a finalist for the QB to make the leap. All right, counsel. Are there any additional arguments you would like to make for the following players: CJ Stroud, Brock Purdy, and Drake Maye?
Your Honor, before getting to argument, counsel would certainly like to preserve the right to appeal this court's decision. But going into an important discussion about Brock Purdy, there is this thought about Kyle Shanahan's quarterbacks, and people say things like coloring inside the lines as if that is a bad thing. But Purdy has surprised me. He can escape and run and create, something that Shanahan usually doesn't have to have a plan for. He had the 5th most scrambles in the league last season, ahead of Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Jalen Hurts. And then Brock Purdy can look like an old-timey quarterback, taking the snap, dropping straight back, and getting through the entire play comfortably. Drop back passing is a lost art, and he is one of few quarterbacks that threw 20% of his passes.
All right. I do like the argument for Brock Purdy. There's more creativity to his game than perhaps Kyle Shanahan's last quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. I do think there's a thing with Purdy that if he were drafted in the first round, how would we talk about Brock Purdy? Much differently than we talk about him now. So I think that was a strong argument. All right. Do you have an additional argument for any of the other finalists?
Your Honor, I would like to conclude this day talking about CJ Stroud. The offense that Stroud has as a rookie, it's a different approach to football. They let Stroud play super fast, think less, a little bit of point and shoot, but defenses now are just too good at knowing how to get a free runner at your quarterback. So we will see Stroud have more to do this season, which can create some downs as they smooth it out. But when he finds himself in a must-have-it game, Stroud is a guy that I want deciphering everything in front of him, because he can certainly run away from things, but his processing speed, his ability to see unique openings in the defense. At the end of this season, when we are done, we will look at the quarterbacks. Everyone says quarterbacks 1 to 4 is locked in. I would expect CJ Stroud to be in that number 5 spot.
CJ Stroud, number 5. I like the argument you made there. I think CJ Stroud has a chance to be the only normal quarterback in the NFL. I mean, have you seen these guys? They're all nuts. But CJ Stroud seems like a normal guy who could be my neighbor, who could be my friend. I like that about him. Seems like a down-to-earth guy. Seems like a good teammate. And the point you made, I recently read an article by Stephen Ruiz on the ringer.com about CJ Stroud getting more responsibility at the line of scrimmage. He doesn't need the OC to do everything for him. He can make some of these calls like some of these veteran quarterbacks. All right, it has come time to choose the winner of the Make the Leap quarterback arguments. Again, CJ Stroud, one candidate. Brock Purdy, another candidate. Drake Maye, the final candidate. So with Drake Maye, it would be a guy going from showing promise to being a guy, where Patriots fans, who can, let's be honest, be quite insufferable at times, will be honking about this guy at the end of the season saying, we found our next Tom Brady. He's going to lead us to the promised land. Drake Maye this, Jason Tatum that. That possibility exists with Drake Maye. Brock Purdy would go from Kyle Shanahan, system quarterback. When the pieces are around him, he can perform, to, nope, I'm sorry. Everyone who doubted this guy, take the L. He is actually a very good quarterback that can perform under difficult circumstances, potentially for a Super Bowl contender in the San Francisco 49ers. And then CJ Stroud, a quarterback who goes from good rookie year, regressed, how much was that on him, to now some better circumstances and maybe a sleeper team in the AFC with a good defense. If they could figure out the offensive line, sky is the limit for CJ Stroud. Counsel, I know you represent all of these clients, but I have to ask you, if you had to choose one, now I'm going to make the final decision, but if you had to choose the guy, who would be your choice?
Your Honor, as long as CJ Stroud is being allowed in this discussion after having such an amazing rookie year, CJ Stroud is certainly the client that counsel would put forward the strongest, with absolute confidence in Brock Purdy and without having made a second argument for Drake Maye, but standing on the video submitted on the SumerSports YouTube page showing his entire rookie year review. So the counsel will, while regrettably not being able to put everyone's name forward, would put CJ Stroud's name forward.
I would have liked a more brief explanation there, counsel. I didn't put the timer on you. You have the gift of gab, which is good in certain industries like podcasting, but in terms of being a counsel and being in this court, you need to work on that a little bit more. As much as I dislike agreeing with you, counsel, and as much as you grind my gears with some of your many annoying habits, I have arrived to the same conclusion that you have arrived at. And that is that CJ Stroud is a quarterback who we will be talking differently about 4 months from now than we are right now. Right now, there's some uncertainty. He has fans. He has detractors. People liked what he was as a rookie. They didn't like the bad habits he developed last year. I see it in CJ Stroud. I see a mental toughness. I see an intellect. I see a skill set. I see a willingness to make throws all over the field. And for that reason, CJ Stroud is the player we have ruled in favor of as the make the leap quarterback for 2025. We thank everyone for this first edition of the Kapadia Court. Of course, you know, our counsel does have a newsletter that you can read that is quite good twice a week, SumerSports.com. You can find it there. There will be no hurry up today, for those of you who know what that is, because we are on a holiday weekend. But we appreciate Shawn Syed from SumerSports. We appreciate everyone for listening. We appreciate Christopher Sutton for producing, Kiera Givens on social, additional production supervision by Conor Nevins and Arjuna Ramgopowell. I will be back at Kapadia Court sometime soon. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.